Hello everybody and welcome to the Geek Apocalypse preview. My name is Stephen Hesse, but if you didn't know that by now, then that's understandable. But yeah, so this is the preview for Geek Apocalypse because if you go to the Geek Apocalypse update, which will be on this YouTube channel, you will be able to get more information about the current state of Geek Apocalypse and various things of that nature. I go into a little bit more detail than this, so please do look at that interview if you have not been sent here by that before. But basically, just as a generalization, hopefully the Geek Apocalypse website will be up as soon as possible. As I say, there's more information in that video about what the current state is. So what I decided to do is do a little preview. So here is some previews of the interviews I've already done with Robbie Lee, Hurst, James Heinichan, Claire Murphy-Morgan, good luck in London, Claire, Sky Hawkins, and Viv Wiggins. I hope you enjoy. I'm intrigued to know, like, has that been with you forever, or is that something you've like grown into, or were you always curious, or
questioning of
humanity?
Yeah. Always.
Yeah.
I kind of. It's kind of weird because you sort of all teenagers I think grow up thinking I'm special or whatever, but not that I thought I was special. I just kind of always felt that I was a slight oddity in regards to. I shouldn't have been really thinking and behaving and questioning things as a 6-year-old boy that most 20-year-olds don't question. I remember when I was a kid, and this is a prime example of my sort of like overall kind of thought process and mentality of life in terms of how I question my position as a human being in a world that I live in, surrounded by other human beings. An example of this, I remember I was about 5 or 6 watching TV with my dad. It was just him and me in the living room. And I asked him, why is it that it's only things that you can buy that are advertised on TV?
He couldn't, very good question.
He couldn't answer it.
Yeah,
it was a concept he'd never even thought of before. That is so weird that I never know that. That's my girlfriend's.
Hello. Yeah. That's fine. That's okay. It shows it's live. Cool. One of the things I was thinking of is because we talked about the multiplayer aspect and the single player campaign. I want to broaden that question out a little bit because if you remember, you touched on it earlier when you said like 10-15. It was something like 10-15 years ago, I believe, for Dunkeeper 2. Do you think because during the sort of 90s, like as I said earlier when I paraphrased Toejam and Earl, like during the original beginning of the 90s, it was sort of the end of the arcade era of cooperation and going to an arcade and playing 2-player and all that kind of thing. Then it reached the point where you had games like Final Fantasy and various others where it was all story driven but clearly playing 1 player. Obviously, we're in a sort of age now where, most of the games that sell really well involve a certain online aspect or various other things. Did you do this, and when you were creating this idea of making this game, did you think, I really wanted, you collectively made a conscious decision to go back to doing a single-player driven campaign, or was there an idea to do something a bit sort of what the popular route, if for want of a better phrase?
Sort of. I can give like a really long answer. I don't know how much time you want me to devote to it.
No, it's fine. We've got enough time, so go ahead.
So I was actually thinking about this all this week, is that a lot of games these days it seems like are sort of going back to that era where you would get together with your friends and play games. And like as we all grew up, because these were during our teenage years, and you'd walk over to your friend's house. And as we all grew up, we went to different colleges, we moved out of state and whatever else. And we miss the sort of connection that we had playing games with our friends, which is why things like Dota 2 are so popular, because you get together with 4 of your buddies and kick some ass. So I don't know if it was inherently thought about. We definitely need the single-player experience because we have a great story to tell, and I don't think it'd be fun to just have multiplayer. Like, obviously there are many games that sell based on the multiplayer, like various shooter franchises, but we want a full game, not just the bits and pieces that we think, I guess, will sell well.
Are you excited about London? What's your feeling?
Excited and nervous, a combination of the two. But I shall look forward to seeing people there if they're able to make it.
Yeah, that would be great. I will text my London friends
Excellent,
and make sure they come down, because I'd love to see this actually. Is it a chance? Live theatre in particular, I may be able to make that one, so I'd like to come down.
Book early to disappointment, to avoid to
disappointment.
Yeah. Book early to disappointment.
Yeah.
That was a Freudian slip.
Yeah, please book to be disappointed.
Edit that.
Be disappointed early. I love that scenario.
Yes. Book early to avoid disappointment with live theatre, as the tickets are going fast.
I was told that earlier. I've been told that by several people. So yeah, that's true. Book early to avoid disappointment. But no, actually, what I wanted to do, you've touched on something pretty good, because I was thinking of Billy Connolly and thinking of I started thinking about how he sort of developed his act and all that. I was thinking of Billy, the first DVD he did, where it was completely different to what he does now.
Yeah, I loved Billy in the beginning.
Yeah.
I just got a bit bored.
I mean, are you a fan of Billy? Are you a fan of?
Oh, hey, Billy was. In fact, the reason why I picked the son of my father was because he reminded me of Billy Connolly, and he's called Billy. So that's what a huge fan I was. But that was, I'm talking 17, 18 years ago. I'm not with the guy now. But yeah, that's why I loved him. He looked a bit like Billy Connolly. And he made me laugh like Billy Connolly, so
that's a very good combination.
Mad you brought him up.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's good.
All relevant and related.
I'm the king of coincidences today.
The Cosmops was working with us.
Yeah. It's wanting me to do this podcast. I'm so relieved. If there is a God, he's like, do what you want to do. But no, because I was thinking what I wanted to do, because it reminded me of what was your? Because I'm fascinated to talk about people's influences, because we were talking about I just mentioned Billy Connolly there because he's one of my sort of idols. Because it's amazing to think how him being around as long as he's been, that someone like me who was not even born when he started,
definitely
he's still funny.
Yeah.
So my sort of thing is, when did this whole sort of poetry, creative stuff start for you? Did it
Oh, you're going to laugh at this.
No, I'll go on then. That's why we're here.
Whether you laugh or not, I don't know. I haven't had, because at school I didn't do very well at school at all. I didn't find out I was dyslexic till I was about 33. So I kind of failed miserably at school, and I was just really put off by poetry and everything like that.
That's something we share. I'm dyslexic.
Yeah. High five.
High five. High five. High five for our stupid vocabulary. It's funny because I was writing out the sort of people that I need, that once this officially gets released, I was thinking of all the people I need to thank.
Yeah.
And I actually thought if I was being sort of really thorough about it and kind of had a big enough page, it really could be everybody who's ever helped me reach to this point.
Yeah.
Because if you kind of realise from my own linear path, just briefly I'll say this, is that if you see it from the point of me getting to this, it's through doing the old podcast and stuff, but literally I have everybody who's ever been on the show, anyone who's ever let me do the show, all the people who've let me borrow a room for free when I didn't have any money to do so, and all the people who said yes when you likelihood that we're going to say no, and all the people who let me go and interview certain people that I really wanted to interview when I had no real right to be there. And you sort of realise how grateful you are that you're in a community that kind of appreciates not only what you do but what everyone else does.
And I don't think it's always been there either. I think it's really burgeoned over the last 7 years, because when I started, you had 1 gig a month with Jeff Price, which was Take 10, or 10 by 10. It was 10 by 10 originally, and it morphed into Take 10 at the Cumberland Arms, and that was the place to be for comedy, poetry and spoken
I'm just laughing there. It's such a geeky thing to think of, but I was thinking when you said Take 10, I had this idea of the Rocky films that just don't end. It's like take 20, take 108. I just love this idea of that they just keep making the numbers completely random.
There were definitely some performers who went over their time slot a bit and kind of still there at midnight with cobwebs growing off ears. Like, can I go now?
Yeah. I'm now going to do a 20-minute prose.
No.
A prose to what? And then I'm going to do my poem I came for.
I'm just now going to do a prolapse.
Yeah. I'm gonna lapse into a coma.
Exactly. Oh, I thought a good segue.
Yeah.
Good segue. But the thing about those, you get a slice of life, and I think that's what I learned. And it's like coming home. I often thought the Cumberland Arms is my spiritual home, and I've gathered other spiritual second and third homes in my journey since. Oh God, I sound like I'm on the X Factor. But
I just really want to get to the next round.
Yeah, exactly. My mum's in a coma. When she wakes up, I want to be at number 1.
Oh, I wish I had like a mobile keyboard. Like
I've got a roll-up keyboard. You could maybe play with that. But yeah, I've completely forgotten my point.
And I should have done a voiceover for that.
Yeah.
Will she or won't she make it to the next round? Stay tuned. The kitchen. I was like watching Kitchen Nightmares.
Don't wake up now. It's not the right time.
Yeah. And at the end, turns out she was fine. Okay, that was it, everybody. That was the end of the preview. That all leaves me to say is please like, subscribe to this channel if you so wish, and just tell all your friends, and as I say, help me out as much as you can. This has been really cool, and I'd like to keep doing this, so all the support that I've already got and will be getting is really much appreciated. So like, subscribe, send carrier pigeons, but whatever it takes. But no, I really appreciate it. So thanks for listening to the preview, and keep being a geek, everybody.